It honestly still like blows my mind how few of us there are on the grid, and I mean the first thing is you certainly need to be fearless.
So what age were you when you first got into motorsports and you realised that it was going to be a passion for you?
So I first drove a go-kart, I think I was like 8 years old. So my dad raced like more recreationally when he was kind of a bit older, had his business set up. So it was kind of in me from a young age, but I was watching it on TV and I was just more fascinated with any kind of motorsport, you know, and bikes as well, two wheels. I was playing other sports at school like tennis, soccer, but I loved the rush. And I think as well at such a young age, you know, 8, 9 years old, to be driving a go-kart and to be in control of something with, I guess, so much power, it actually was a feeling of power. And it was, I don't know, I was kind of like, I was the only one at school doing it. So it made me, I felt like I was, you know, a little bit of a cool outcast, and I was just obsessed with it. But in saying all that, I did not think that it would be a career. You know, I dreamed of it being a career, but yeah, I was not like this golden child winning every race. And like, it was not till I was later in my teens where, let's say, I kind of flipped a switch and kind of went all in on it.
So at that age though, even that you know, sort of 9, 10 years old, did you have visions and dreams of being Formula One? Is that the ultimate thing, that to be a Formula One driver? Is that the main goal when you're that young?
Yeah, that's like, it's the pinnacle of motorsport. It's basically like the fastest circuit cars in the world, with the most technology. And, you know, I remember like Ayrton Senna growing up and these names, Schumacher, and it was all, they were like the heroes for me. So yeah, I was just fascinated. And I think as well, the noise, the sound of the cars was just, there was like nothing else. And back then they were, you know, like V12 engines, and they screamed, and they were intimidating, you know, and it just felt like these guys were like superheroes. So I guess, yeah, like as a kid, you know, you have these, I want to be an astronaut or whatever. And for me, like a Formula One driver was the equivalent.
When you think about the amount of races, is it 20 drivers in a season? So
Yeah.
in the whole of the world, there's 20 people that are chosen to race in that sport, which means you're so elite and so unique. Like, what are the characteristics? What makes you a Formula One driver?
It honestly still like blows my mind how few of us there are on the grid. And I mean, the first thing is you certainly need to be fearless. You need to not be afraid of, I mean, these missiles that we pretty much put ourselves in and drive. All that being said, to really drive these cars on the limit and well, you just need a lot of finesse and a lot of feel, and it's all through, you feel it all through like the seat of your pants and the way the car is and moves, and even like working out kind of how much brake to use in this corner and when to pick up the accelerator. You're kind of like constantly problem solving whilst you're out on the track.
So lots of brain power, lots of strategy, and lots of like, you need to be really sharp. Right? Your focus and your reaction times are like supernatural, really, when you think about the way we react to certain things. But how important is the physicality? Because you hear, like, you know, a lot of people say that Formula One drivers burn like thousands of calories and they lose loads of water weight. Like, is it really physically challenging going at that speed through a race in the heat as well?
It is, and they're the hardest races. I think the most I've lost in a race is close to 4 kilos.
4 kilos of body weight from water weight, like from sweat sort of thing?
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's a lot. I think physically, the hardest thing is basically the G-forces that we go through. So all the load on our body, that's where it's really fatiguing over the course of a race. And I mean, we're doing pulling like 5 Gs multiple times, probably through the course of a lap. And then there's 60 laps in a race, call it. So it's a lot of load. We don't drive that often, and our off season, we won't sit in a Formula One car for more than 2 months. It's so hard to condition your body without actually doing the act. So yeah, it's a challenging sport to get fit for, because we just can't do it often enough.
BBC Sounds, music, radio, podcasts.